What does it take to flip a congressional seat in Indiana? What does it take to hold one? Or maybe most importantly, who are the people willing to step up and fight for Hoosier families in Washington? This is Turn Left, Running for Congress 2026. We're sitting down with the Indiana Democratic candidates running for Congress in the 2026 primary. This is your chance to hear directly from the people who want to represent you, not just their talking points, but their stories, their values, and their vision for Indiana's future. All right, welcome back to Turn Left, Running for Congress 2026. Y'all, see, the great thing about this primary season is that we have so many great Democratic candidates who are indeed running for office. I have another one from you all the way coming up from Evansville. Y'all give it up for Mary Allen, who is running for Congress in the 8th District. Mary, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I love it. So you're my first primary candidate from the 8th District. We've had a few from the 5th and some from the 9th and one from the 4th. So I'm excited to get down in Southern Indiana and find out what is going on down there. But first up, tell the people who you are and where you come from.
Absolutely. So I'm Mary Allen. As you said, I'm running in to be the next U.S. representative in District 8. I live in Evansville, Indiana. Currently lived here in Indiana for about 32 years, originally from Cincinnati, Ohio, a little town called Norwood.
I was born in Cincinnati.
You were?
Yep.
No kidding. Yep. Okay. I grew up there. Yeah. I moved to Evansville to go to school. So yeah, my parents are still there and brother's still there.
Okay. I was adopted, so I grew up in Indy, but I was born in Cincinnati. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, it's a good town. No, not at all. That's really cool. I love it. Yes, so I moved out here at 18. Ended up, I left for a little bit to go to military training, but came back, had the roots here in Evansville. Raised my, got my husband. I don't know what that means.
You got him.
I got him. We have 3 adult daughters, two grandkids. I'm currently serving as an at-large city councilor here in Evansville.
I love it. Okay, wait, that's so much to unpack there. So you were in the military?
Army Reserve, yes.
Okay, and so what did you do when you were in the reserves?
Yeah, so then that's where I got my training. I was very fortunate it was accredited on the civilian side. So when I got out, took my boards, I was an occupational therapist assistant for 15 years. So worked in the healthcare world for 15 years. So it was 91 Lima, occupational therapy is the MOS. And did that, got out, started working and going back to school to become an occupational therapist. That's such I could get off into all those stories, but ended up having a child at 21. And so a single mom, so worked, just went into working a second job. And that's kind of where my heart goes out to single moms too, because I've lived it. I worked 2 jobs in order to, afford our way of life. And I don't know how they do it even now. And I lived with another single mom so we could share resources and help one another out, that type of thing. And then, like I said, met my husband. We ended up taking legal guardianship of 2 other girls. So we have 3 daughters and now, 2 grandbabies. So I say babies, they're grown. They're getting grown.
So so you're already sitting on the council down in Evansville. Are you county council or city council?
City council.
City council.
Yep. City council at large.
Okay.
I serve as the vice president.
Whoa, you done rose up the ranks. I love that. So was there a tie to your military service that led you into wanting to be a civil servant in the political space?
It's interesting. I would have never seen myself serving in any political position. Even if you would have asked me probably 5 years ago. Life is funny that way, right? I mean, when growing up, even politics wasn't something that brought people around the table. Actually, it was quite the opposite. And even I remember my parents saying, well, we're not even voting because we're just going to cancel each other's vote out. So I grew up pretty cynical view and somewhat apathetic. But I will say, when I joined the reserves, you take an oath to the Constitution. When I became a city councilor, but I'll back up a minute. So I was in healthcare for about 15 years, and then I went in and started my own business. So I was in small business for about 15 years. And in that time, my husband was a director of a nonprofit ministry in the center city. And so we had these experiences with community development, healthcare, small business world. And then that city council, through numerous conversations, little taps, and realizing how policy impacts people, and feeling, and not so much on a city council level, but this is what was the impetus for more of this federal position, was seeing how disconnected our representatives are from the people that they represent.
Right, right.
And there's just so much of a disconnect. And so, but anyway, I felt like city-wise, though, this was my next way to be able to serve my community, and I absolutely love it. I dove in, and I'm not looking back. And I love what I do. I love having the opportunity. It is the honor to serve and represent the people of Evansville. I'm very intentional in the way I do it, very accessible. And one of the things that I really set out to do, that I hope to do in this next level too, is I want to help kind of bridge the gap and bring people along in the process and make government and politics a little more accessible. So after every city council meeting, I get on, I do a little explanation of what we talked about and what we voted on and why I voted the way I did. Just that type of thing to hopefully connect people to the process, and they can feel more that it's a little more accessible to them, and understand that. And I hope to do that in the next level as well. And I really feel like I can bring that intentional, accessible, accountable representation to this next level, to this seat. And we're not seeing that right now. That was, and I didn't have ambition. It wasn't like it was some ambition to go into a bigger office, but I found myself in this position, loving what I do, making a real impact in our community. And it's so important, but finding that there were a lot of things that I couldn't control, couldn't help and make a difference in, that I've felt helpless and a bit hopeless at times, and thinking, no, I can make a difference. And I want to bring that same level of intentional representation to this seat.
I love it. I love it. And so
it's probably more out of frustration than ambition, I guess.
And that's okay. Whatever it takes to get people involved, right?
Right.
So, the Evansville City Council tends to lean a little bit more to the left. Am I correct?
There are 8 Democrats and 1 Republican on council currently. Yes.
I imagine
county council is the exact opposite.
Yeah, I was going to say, I imagine the Vanderburgh County Council is probably different, but a lot of the interests of Vanderburgh County and the interests of Evansville are kind of locked hand in hand, right? How have you managed to navigate the differing opinions of the county council with the goals of the city council? And then talk about some of the challenges that you've had that you've been able to work through.
Yeah, it's funny because we were just having this conversation with a county councilor about how we need to increase our communication. We just need to talk more. There's been a little disconnect there too, and so we are moving into this space of being of increased communication, because we have to. You're right. The city is in the county, and we impact one another, and we're working together. We've started bringing people around the table on various initiatives. Just for little example, our tax abatement scorecard hasn't been updated since 2017, and that impacts both of us. So we're bringing one little example, but to bring everyone around the table, and things they shouldn't be so divisive no matter what level, but especially locally. It's like we all want the same things. We want, quality roads, parks, schools, all of those things. And we need to work together to make that happen.
Okay. I love that, because there's going to be some challenges in communicating with the other side. And so I was just curious to see, how you've been able to do that, because one of the things I love are like when council folks and state legislators work to go into Congress, because they're all legislative branch positions. What skills have you learned, other than communication as a counselor, will you be able to take with you to Congress when you go to DC? Well, I mean,
some conflict resolution, some ability to be open-minded, and you've got to and critically think and think independently, but critically think and to really to know that you're not coming to the table with all the right answers. Your party's not coming to you're not loyal. You're loyal to the people and what you feel like is best for the people. That's number one. And when you know that the other people are feeling the same way, no matter what party they technically belong to, you've just got to come together and work together, knowing that a little bit of we need differing opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I don't want to come thinking I've got all the answers. They shouldn't be coming thinking they have all their answers. And honestly, together, we might come up with the best answer. And we need a little bit of, I don't want to call it gridlock because that's too harsh of a word, but we need a little, that discourse to come up with the best answer, I think. And so, communication is a big part of it. Listening is a huge part of it. I was talking to a friend of mine who was a political science grad from Harvard, and he was lamenting, saying, politics used to be about the art of compromise. That's what we always talked about, and now it's become a performing art. And I was like, oh, that is so true. It is so true.
And see, I would love to talk to your professor, because I would ask him, it's always astonishing to me when people talk about what politics used to be, but it wasn't a full societal participation at the time. It was mostly white males, white Christian males who were having these conversations. So they come, not the same backgrounds, but they come from similar backgrounds. But once you started adding women into the mix, you started adding more minority groups into the mix. What was the change? It sometimes it just kind of blows my mind, because I'd be like, well, y'all was compromising with each other, but y'all had the same interests. Now y'all don't want to compromise with people who have differing interests. So I would love to talk to your Harvard professor about that, because he makes a valid point. But I often wonder, do they consider the dynamic changes in our government and who represents us now when they say that?
Right.
What I mean?
And I do. Yes. And we still need more women and more minorities in these positions and in these seats at the table.
Absolutely. And so,
I mean, what is Congress, like 28% women when we make up more than half of the country?
Yeah, we're 51% of the population, right? And
28% of Congress. Yeah.
And then there are men that are, listen, I know we having a conversation, but there are men out there that are literally talking about we should get rid of the 19th Amendment.
Right. Right. Well, and this SAVE Act is sort of like giving repealed 19th Amendment vibes, right?
Baby. and I love how Republicans keep talking about voter ID. When this is not what SAVE Act is not about voter ID. It is literally proving if you're a citizen and all the hoops that you have to jump through as women if you've gotten married and changed your name. Blah, blah, blah. Like, it is crazy.
Right. And so it is voter suppression. End of story. And designed to sow doubt.
Yes. Oh my God.
In the validity of our elections. Yeah.
The raid on in Fulton County is just, it's enough to drive you nuts. And see, these are the things that you would have to deal with when you get to Congress, right?
That's right.
You'd have to deal with voter suppression. You have to deal with things like the SAVE Act and ICE and all of these other things. Talk about...
Which I'm ready. It's like, that's what it's about. We need fighters. We need people who are up there doing that, fighting against these things that just make no sense. The SAVE Act, like you're saying, we are wasting time finding a solution to a problem that does not exist. And that, I just can't. Some people are like, why would you get into this, especially right now? Because how can you not?
Yeah.
You have to. We need people to be stepping up. It's like we have a direction problem right now. Our congressman in particular, he's taking his marching. He's like a megaphone for the administration. He's taking his marching orders and then coming down and disseminating information to the people to say, this is what we're doing and this is why you should like it. Versus, we need to bring the people's voice back to the people's house. It's the opposite direction. You've got to show up. You've got to listen, and that's not happening.
So when you're out in rural Indiana and southern Indiana, and you're seeing farmers struggling because of tariffs, and you're seeing, the affordability issue a factor, when that representative comes in, what are the people saying? I mean, what are they telling you as you're, making your way around District 8? Because that has a lot of counties, a lot of rural counties in it, right?
Yes, we are 21 counties, and we launched our campaign in August, and we've made our way around to all 21 counties, and now just continue to keep doing that over and over and over again, and meeting with as many people as we can, talking with as many people as we can. And we're in a very diverse county. We got manufacturing. We have a lot of agriculture. You're exactly right. So a lot of space there. And I've had the opportunity to meet with farmers. We had dinner together in a lot of different ag fields, but they all said the same thing. They they said it's go big or go home. And these are generational farmers who are worried about how many more generations that they have. Is this their last year? And these, the tariffs, we talked about the bailout, which I still don't think they've received the money, but we've talked about the bailout, and every single one of them, as we went around the table, they said, we don't want a bailout. We don't want it. Now we'll take it. We need it. It's just going to go to debt. It's a drop in the bucket. But we want fair markets. We want consistent, open markets. We want a new farm bill. We want more trade partners. These are the things we need: long-term, sustainable policy. And so they're struggling. Healthcare too is a big thing. I was a small business owner for years. I was on the Affordable Care Act prior to City Council. I don't know how I would have had insurance if it wasn't for that as a small business owner. And a lot of these farmers saying the same thing in terms of healthcare. The right to repair is a big thing for them. So, and there is so much pride in what they do, even though it is so hard. And and like you're talking, the tariffs on the inputs, the costs that they have no control. I mean, talk about farming not having any control in what you do, from weather to the cost of inputs to even the cost of what you're the price you get for your product. And is there going to be a market for you to sell it to? They've been sold out, and they're feeling it.
And there's with this pain point, are they, when you say go big or go home, are they saying, look, we're willing to try something else because what we've been voting for and what we've been getting from our vote is not working for us? Are they looking to, maybe when you say go big or go home, are they looking to make a change?
No, I mean, they're just saying it's go corporate because there's not a space for our family farms anymore. Is their fear. And but the fact that they met with me, is huge. Now, they did ask no cameras.
Right. No, that's cool. That's cool.
They're meeting with a Democrat. I'm like, I don't care. We don't need cameras. I just want to listen. I want to learn and know what are things that I could do for you to make a change when I'm in Congress. What does that look like? And so I look forward to lots more conversations with them and visiting their farms in the spring. They've welcomed me back, and I'm really looking forward to that. And we talked about the immigration concerns as well.
Okay, but from a farmer's perspective, what is their concern with immigration?
Well, they're losing their workers.
Imagine that.
Right. Exactly. And and a lot of them said, this isn't working. We understand we want secure, safe borders, and we want violent criminals arrested, which we have a system in place for that. We have the police, sheriff's department. We have a system in place. If someone is arrested and they are placed in jail for whatever crime, and they are suspected to be undocumented, our officers call ICE. That has always been that's how it's been.
Wow.
What we're doing now, as you know, is not what ICE was ever intended for. And it just we talk about the amount of money. Our budget is a moral document. It shows our priorities, and our priorities are upside down. And you think the amount of money we're spending on the secret police force, what if we put that into legal pathways?
Right.
And, we're preaching to the choir here.
We need to share this because there are people out there that are going to hear this podcast or listen to this on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, who are going to want to know how you stand. Because one of the things that we've been hearing as Democrats is that a lot of voters are saying that we're not fighting for us. And what I'm hearing is that you're gathering ammunition from the people who are hurting the most so that you can go make that fight. Am I correct in that assumption?
Absolutely. 100%. That's what we have to do. That's our job. That's our job. That's supposed to be our job, is gathering information from the people in your district ongoing. So not just during election season, but that's why, we're only elected for 2 years. Right. We're supposed to be the closest engagement to the people. And so it's like an ongoing job interview. You should be showing up in your district whenever you're home, whenever you're out of session. You're making your way around, and we're not seeing that right now.
So something that may or may not be out of your wheelhouse right now because you've been at the council level is Congress's role on the world stage, right? Yes, you're going to be fighting for legislation that directly impacts District 8 and the rest of the nation, but there are things from an international perspective that Congress is responsible for. We are dropping bombs on boats in the Caribbean. We are dropping bombs in Nigeria. We have the Ukraine, we have Gaza, we have all of these world conflicts, and the European Union is like, we don't trust the United States anymore.
We're losing friends,
right.
For sure.
When you think about that and your role in Congress, how would you want to see us as a nation and your role as a congressperson to try to mend this fissure that has happened under this current administration?
Yeah, I do let my mind wander a little bit to think, well, how long is it going to take us to repair these relationships? And I'm like, I want to get in and start on this. I mean, Canada, Europe, it's just blows my mind. But watching Congress abdicate their responsibilities and their role in so much of this, when we're seeing, like you said, dropping bombs on boats, ignoring we are not, it's three co-equal branches of government to hold one another accountable, and Congress is not holding the executive branch accountable. They're not doing their job. Right. And if they allocate funds, we've got the power of the purse. Allocating funds, it doesn't matter if funds want to be cut off or withheld for some retaliatory purpose. Where's the fight? Congress isn't showing up fighting. Some of them are. Right. Ours isn't, but we need a majority to get in there and fight to say, no, we allocated this funding for XYZ, or no, we didn't. Congress isn't showing up and holding the executive branch accountable.
This is true. Yeah. This is so true. And I think one of the things that'll help us get back there is like those trips that a lot of the Congress folks take across the waters. And I know like a lot of people are like, we shouldn't be involved. No, if your farmers want trade, we got to open up trade markets. We've got to build those relationships, build the trust. We are losing trust on the world stage. Yeah. So one of the other big things that we're seeing that is happening in Congress is the administration is working diligently to declassify certain degree programs as not professional, depending on how much money they make after, they graduate. But I think, one of the opinions I have of that is that we're not allowing people to be their full and complete selves when we, restrict educational options. Talk about how you see public education both at the secondary and post-secondary level, and Congress's role in making sure that our young people are being educated the right way, or people being educated the right way. Yeah. Well, I agree with what you just said. Let people be, grow into whatever field and education and however they want to learn. My daughter is a fourth grade public school teacher, so I'm very passionate about public education, seeing the dismantling of the Department of Education and the things that we're doing and how it's impacting our schools, quality education, no matter what zip code. Very passionate about that. Pay for our teachers, all of those things, but and trade, and it's not just secondary education. And then there's talking about, the cost of secondary education too. We can, get into that, but and encouraging trade and unions. My dad was a Teamster truck driver. I'm very pro-labor, and there's a lot of wonderful apprenticeship programs, that type of thing, that encouraging trade, but encouraging secondary education in whatever capacity people want to grow and learn and expand their knowledge, and then be able to give back in whatever role or capacity that they want to give back to. I don't know if I answered that question. No, you got it. Let's talk about healthcare. I imagine you have a few counties in District 8 that have healthcare deserts. Greene County Hospital just had to close their maternity ward The what?
somewhat recently because
the maternity ward. What?
Yeah, their OB ward. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. That's the real problem with those are usually the first to go in these rural hospitals, county hospitals, because the reimbursement doesn't match the cost anymore. So that's these Medicaid cuts are, killing our rural hospitals and everyone, everyone in between. But.
So my head just blew off my shoulders because that was something I didn't know, that the OB wards were the first to go. When we have folks in leadership on the other side of the aisle, and all they're pushing is for us to have more babies.
Yeah, right. Right.
But then you have set up a system.
We're not protecting. There is so much of that you think about, even just that. My brain just went off even deregulation and of corporations and air quality, safe air, safe water, all of those things, and our asthma rates, our cancer rates, all of those things, particularly down here, are really high. And so the government is contributing to poor health, and yet we keep cutting healthcare. So it's the same type contradiction in multiple fields.
Man,
I mean, and we're seeing it with, and again, it's a megaphone. Our current representation is a megaphone for the administration. We just saw where Trump did an executive order for an emergency to keep on a coal plant here in Warwick County, one of our counties, and saying that it's affordable, necessary, affordable and reliable energy, which it is neither one of those things, nor clean.
Nope.
And those are the repeated talking points. And and it's so frustrating because just because you repeat a lie or misinformation, we know doesn't make it true. And that's what we're seeing. And people aren't challenging what they're hearing. People are just trying to live. Yeah. Honestly, I don't blame them. They're just trying to live, and they should be able to. I want people engaged with politics and participating as much as they can, but also they should be able to disengage and live their life and trust the process a little bit, for people to have their best interest, for their representatives to have their best interest. And we're just not seeing that.
No, we're not. And so many people are struggling. I mean, the ICE raids in and of themselves
oh my gosh.
Is so incredibly problematic with, I think there's so many heartbreaking moments. Like the finding out about the squalid conditions that they're putting people in, stacking them up 60 deep, snatching elderly people out in the snow, killing American citizens,
and this is what our taxpayer dollars are going for, but we can't afford, but we're going to cut SNAP and Medicaid and all of these other things because we can't afford them.
But
crazy. Yet we're going to fund this, and as well as corporations and tax benefits and all of that. We've got the money for that, but not for everyday people, not to raise the federal minimum wage, not all of those things. All the things.
So I gotta ask you something.
And that comes down to Citizens United and all of those things. Sorry.
No,
I won't.
No. Because I was getting ready I was about to tap into something because I feel it coming out, and I'm just going to pull it out. Tell me what you are passionate about, because I hear it. Tell me.
It just sounds so cheesy, but I truly just passionate about the people. If we can make change that improves someone's life, their job, their wage, their healthcare, their dignity, that's what it's about. That's why we have a representative democracy, so that you trust someone, and talk about trust in Congress that has gone away, or in politicians. I talk to these high school students and they're cynical. I'm like, no, don't be cynical. I mean, I understand,
right? But
it's we have to have hope, and that there are people who want to do it for the right reasons and not to make money. There is I don't know if you've heard of. It's a kind of a new initiative. Take Back Congress, BAC. Have you seen that yet, Dana? It's a coalition of congressional candidates from around the country, and it's Andrew Snead is the one who started. I think he's from Alabama. He's a plumber, owns his own business, and he just started contacting congressional candidates literally just him and his friend started contacting folks, and it's nothing earth shattering.
Mm-hmm.
It's, but what is the collaboration and then bringing people together in numbers, because that's where the power is. So there's, I think, about 40 something candidates currently signed on, like signatories signed on, within representing 40 countries. And he's continuously working on it, but, and getting more. But it's basically saying we agree to these 5 things. And we may not agree on all policies, and that's okay. But these are 5 things we do agree on. And it's banning congressional stock trading. You're not getting in there to get rich. You're working together to overturn Citizens United. Again, these aren't earth-shattering things. They've all been talked about. We just can't get any movement on them. Term limits. Oh gosh, what are the other 2? Those are the three main ones. Term limits. Moratorium on lobbying, saying that you, as a congressperson, that's not your job interview to be a lobbyist. There's got to be about a 5-year break between the time you're in Congress to be a lobbyist, and then a official code of ethics for the Supreme Court. So those are the 5 things. So saying we would come together and kind of coalesce around these things to make a difference and an impact once we're all elected. There's one candidate in each race that is a part of this. And so say when we're elected, we can come together united in numbers to try to really make efforts toward this change. So it's a really cool thing. We're all going to meet in DC on March 18th, do a press conference, meet together in person. And I'm really looking forward to that.
I like that. And see, I knew I was about to ask the right question, because I think sometimes, and this is not a knock, and I appreciate your the way that you are comporting yourself in this interview, because I think it's always important as Congress folks that or elected officials that they show up in the way that is very respectful. But like I felt like underneath, like there was this thing that you wanted to just let out and just come, and it's okay. Like I get it. Like, and I feel that, and I hope the listeners catch that. Like you got something bubbling in you, sis. And I want people to feel that passion like I'm feeling it. So was there anything that you wanted to mention that I didn't ask you about?
Gosh, I can't think of anything. I just love having a conversation with you. I love everything you're doing and the platform you have and how you're using it. Thank you.
Oh my God. We need to get the right, we need to get more people of various ideas in Congress, and people who are willing to stand up to the nonsense that is, and the breaking of norms and institutions and all of the things. Because they see when you collaborate with the Orange Menace, your life does not get better.
It doesn't get better. That's exactly right. And I want to say, you've had there's been a Republican in this seat for about the past 14 years. Like, just give me 2, give me a try, and let's do something different. Let's not keep doing the same thing, because your life, it is not getting better. And so many people, it's discouraged, and as I've traveled around and continue these conversations, so many people saying, I'm grieving for my country. We have such heartfelt conversation. I'm grieving for relationships that I'm losing due to this divide, and I feel helpless and hopeless. I hear that so much, and I say we are never without hope. That's right. Because there are people, and I'm seeing it. I saw in the youth walkout the other day. One of our high schools, they came out and were protesting ICE. There's another high school joining this Saturday at our monument downtown to protest. Like, we're seeing it. We're seeing what the power in numbers and the power of the people. No King's coming up again in March, another one of those. And people are stepping up and speaking out, and it is making a difference. Yeah. And you were putting yourself on the ballot and saying, hey, I am going to try and make a difference in my community. I love it. You're already an elected official. You could have just sat still and be like, I'll just take care of my little universe. But you see the need, and I appreciate that, because not a lot of people are willing to step forward. And that's why we are doing this Turn Left Running for Congress 2026, so that folks can hear about these candidates who are running for Congress. Mary Allen, running in District 8, thank you so much for joining me. Give your elevator pitch on why people should support you. Oh, gosh. Well, God, I don't know what. Sorry.
I love it. I love it. You know what I'm loving right now? There's a genuineness in you. You're not canned. You're not scripted. You are just being yourself. So knock it out.
Thank you. Thank you. I will just say, it would be the honor of my life to represent you in a way that brings integrity, accessibility, and true representation back to this office. That's truly what that's all it's about. How I will filter my decisions is does it improve life? Does it? I'm looking at your paycheck. Nothing about the potential shit. I was like, wait, this isn't live, right?
No, it's not live, but I'm not editing this out because this is authenticity, baby. This is how I like it, right? This is how I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is really, it's just about being a voice for the people. Like I said earlier, we're not seeing people show up. Yeah. And my tagline is one of us fighting for all of us.
Ooh.
You know, I've been the single mom. You know, my grandson's received services on Medicaid, and I'm worried about the future of his care. Like I said, my daughter I was a small business owner with tariffs impacting my business, which I just sold that in December to really focus full force on this race. So we've seen it. And those are some personal reasons, but I've got to say, things don't have to impact you personally for you to care and fight for it. You know, that's exactly right. I know.
Imagine that.
Yeah, some things do, and they end up having to impact you personally. And if that's what it takes for you to turn your thought and vote around, then so be it. But empathy is where it's at, and just wanting to help improve people's lives.
I love
at the end of the day. That's all it's about.
I love it. That is where we will end it, because empathy is how we're going to get things done and turned around. Y'all, Mary Allen running in District 8 for Congress in 2026. Guys, real talk. If you love this conversation, first of all, I'm going to say this, and I want y'all to understand something. Authenticity, you cannot fake it. You can't recreate it. It is what it is. I love that Mary Allen just showed you her vulnerabilities, but she is willing to step up and serve for you because she feels that passion in her heart. And I hope you felt that. And if you do feel it and you do support her, click on the donate link. Consider becoming a donor. I know, folks, and I say it every show, people want to be grassroots candidates, and I understand that. But in order for us to be competitive in the primary and in the general election, we need to raise money. So please click on Mary's donate link, donate $5, $10, or become a recurring donor. Okay? Because in order for her to be successful at every level, she's going to need some money to be competitive. All right. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Turn Left, running for Congress 2026. Mary Allen running in District 8. I'm going to bring in more candidates. I love this platform. I think I might adopt it full time so that you guys can hear from these candidates more fully. But in the meantime, I'll holler at y'all next time. Peace. Turn Left is the property of Black Pearl IT Solutions, executive producer, Indiana's own Dana Black. Music by Dorianin22 from Pixabay.